Federal prosecutors have accused a man living in Louisiana of taking part in the Hamas attacks on October 7th, 2023. CBS News reporter Kati Weis has more.
The first person for allegedly helping Hamas in the deadly October 7, 2023 terror attack against Israel faced a judge this morning in Louisiana. Prosecutors say this is 33-year-old Mahmoud Amin Yaqub al-Muhtadi in Gaza, along with other militants, before Hamas's deadly attack on October 7th. According to a federal criminal complaint, al-Muhtadi communicated with a paramilitary group that helped conduct the terror attack. The complaint says cell phone data shows him near one of the targeted neighborhoods. More than 1,200 people in Israel were killed, including more than 40 American citizens. Authorities say they obtained phone calls that al-Muhtadi placed the morning of the attack. In one call, he says, quote, "Get ready, the borders are open." In another, he tells someone, quote, "Bring the rifles and whatever you have." So far, al-Muhtadi, who is living in Louisiana since at least this summer, is the only accused conspirator expected to face an American jury. Back to you.
Kati Weis, thank you. And CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd joins me now for more on this story. Sam, what kind of security barriers would this person have had to go through to make it out of Gaza and into the U.S.?
Well, the Israeli government conducted a significant amount of vetting on individuals trying to get out of Gaza into Egypt. There was significant vetting against Israeli intelligence holdings. And ostensibly, the Israeli government was doing social media vetting of individuals. According to the public complaint, this individual had content and pictures on his social media profiles linking him to terrorist entities. That would have happened before the individual crossed out of Gaza. Now, when this individual applied for a visa via the U.S. government and had an interview at the U.S. Embassy in Cairo, he would have undergone additional screening and vetting in the first instance to ascertain whether he had any ties to terrorists. We now know that, according to the public complaint, that the Israeli government told the U.S. government just this year that this individual, they had intel that this individual had ties to terrorists, and that came well after the individual had gained entry into the United States.
Sam, I also want to ask you about kind of a fiery moment that we saw unfold live on television earlier this afternoon. The latest strike on an alleged drug vessel near Venezuela. We know now there are 2 survivors in U.S. custody, and President Trump spoke about that today. Let's listen.
That was a drug-carrying submarine built specifically for the transportation of massive amounts of drugs. Just so you understand, this was not an innocent group of people. I don't know too many people that have submarines.
And I do want to note as well, Trump, as you know, Sam, used an expletive when talking about the situation. I just wonder what this says to us about the relationship between these 2 countries, especially given that there are survivors on the table right now.
Well, this is certainly a gross departure from the counter-narcotics missions that I was involved in when at the Department of Homeland Security. There are real questions about where this is going to end. This was the latest in a string of strikes since September. There are real questions about why there were survivors based upon the type of weaponry that was used, how long these survivors will be detained on a vessel that is still at sea, and ultimately whether the government of Venezuela is going to engage in any kind of retaliatory action. This comes, of course, as President Trump did acknowledge publicly that he has authorized new covert action activities in Venezuela, ostensibly geared towards regime change.
Okay, Sam Vinograd, thank you.